Alright, yo, what's going on, all my gamers, all my Gacha gamers? Chat, it's the time of the month again. I had to, we stayed up late for this just to see this go live. Chat, it is the Gacha revenue report, which, if you guys don't know what this is a totally 100% actual, factual results of this last month and how Gacha games have been making and stuff like that. So in this, we have like stuff like the Wuthering Waves anniversary, the Nikkei anniversary, and I think that's about it. And like, I guess Hugo and who else was it for? Escoffier. Yeah, Escoffier, stuff like that. So that's for the big four, but for other stuff, we're gonna look through and see what we do know. And we do know is Memento coming in at $11,000, which is kind of surprising. This is actually, no, that's not surprising. This game came out with pretty much no marketing except for probably streamers who just so happen to download the game and hear about it, right? This game soft launch, dude, this thing was so soft, I don't even know how to explain it. This game just came. I didn't even know about it, and I've been looking forward to this game a while, so. But still came out 11,000. Again, these games are, these games, so. Oh my gosh, dude, look at that. I mean, this one makes sense, right? When you think about Tribe 9, this game is going to be EOSing at the, I think in November, something like that. So it only made about $40,000. I think they even stopped accepting cash at this point. Or maybe they turned it back on. I don't really know. Let's see, Black Clover M. We're still in around the $90,000 range. Let's see if there's anything here that, there's a Sword Art Online Gacha game. And it made $100,000. Wow. Girls Frontline coming in at $165,000. I mean, I don't really expect a lot out of the Girls Frontline series. Or not the Girls Frontline series. I'm so sorry. I said that incorrectly. Please don't take it in that way. I'm not expecting much from Girls Frontline 1. I think Girls Frontline 2 should be doing pretty decently, if I'm not mistaken. Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, a game that doesn't even compare to a PGR collab, is still going strong at 300K. Why? I don't know why. I wish that game would EOS Gelong Chao. I think I've heard of this. I think this one just came out, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't say for what region though. Well, I mean, I don't know, but oh, it's on CN. Sorry, I think this is a CN only game. So for CN, this made about 275,000. I think that's kind of low for a CN game. I'm not gonna lie. Tower of God, New World. We're getting into like the low numbers of the anime games like Bleach, Final Fantasy. We have Sword Art Online. What else? What else is down here? Cat Fantasy. Shout out to Cat Fantasy. So let's just move up a little bit higher. Bleach is down there. I think there's a better Bleach game. I don't know. Tower of Fantasy, up to almost 1 million this month. I don't know who is single-handedly, funding this game, but if NTE comes out and it does well, I would like to thank whoever is funding that game by keeping this game alive. I'm just going to say it like that. Now we've reached to about the 1 million standpoint. Snowbreak Containment Zone, down about 500K. I wouldn't know why. I wouldn't know why it made as much as it did, but, it made that much. Black Beacon making 1.2 million. I actually recently I don't really think I'm going to continue on this game myself, personally. I did drop it. I'm not really going to stream it anymore. It's not really my, it's kind of had some problems. If it comes out with its own client, I might look into it more because it's just not, it's got a lot of problems going into the Google Play, whatever. Blue Lock, making money. I guess Blue Lock is making money with its Gacha game, Eminence of Shadow. I kind of want to watch that. I need to watch that eventually. Honkai Impact 3rd combined is 1.7 mil. This one's still keeping up a bit. It's still going. Limbus Company making a 1.9 million. That is pretty good. I think they even had, another peak players, if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago. If it wasn't peak players, it was pretty close. I think they just had a new update recently, so good for them. Almost up to 2 million. That might not mean a lot to like one of the bigger companies, but with Limbus company, this game has maybe 40 people working at that company, so that 2 million is gonna go pretty far. Tier of Themist still making 2 mil. Don't know how. Brown Dust 2 just had their collab with Goblin Slayer. I guess that one's making money because it's almost up to 3 million. Chat, look at that. That's kind of cool. Look at that. Wizardry Variants Daphne has made 3 million for like 2 months, 3 months, I think. They're just keeping steady. Same with Fire Emblem Heroes here. They're still 2 months in. It's about 3 million. Okay, wow. I've never seen games just like stick completely still like that. It's kind of weird, but hey, people are paying money for it. Punishing Gray Raven, 3.2 million. I think it might only be, no, it's not only gonna be, but this does include Ishmael in that, and this is the combined revenue. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna be. This might be the DMC collab in here. I think it came out. I'm not entirely sure. If it did, it would be in this. I think so. So yeah, that's in there. Epic 7 still 3.4 mil. Memento Mori staying at 4 mil. Blue Archive coming down. I guess they had a big release. I wouldn't really know. Here's the other Girls Frontline game that people are... Solo Leveling Arise, by the way, making another 5 million. I've never really tried that game. I don't know. I have it downloaded. We'll see if I try it. I might try it off stream. I don't know. Girls Frontline 2 Excellium. I have been trying to play this game off stream, and I made it to the dorms, and I know why this game makes $5.3 million. Let's say it like that. You know, Snowbreak Containment Zone, Brown Dust 2, Girls Frontline 2. I'm seeing where this money is coming from. I'm really seeing where I'm seeing the vision, and the vision for Excellium specifically is feet, but that's neither here nor there. Onmyoji, AFK Journey, made up to 6 mil. Man, I'm not gonna lie. This one's kind of, you kind of, a lot of these games, I don't really seriously wish the downfall of them. But Infinity Nikki definitely is one of the games I wish the downfall on after how they've been screwing over their players and stuff like that. But still, with the combined, they still have about 6.7 mil. Actually, chat, give me 1 second. Okay, I just want to check this out for myself. Infinity Nikki only making about 1 million on global. That's kind of where I would prefer to see it, just like not making a lot of money. In fact, they made less money this month. I guess in China, they don't really care. I don't know. Actually, that might not be fair to say. I'm not entirely sure. We would have to see. I would have to ask Styx, because he's been covering it a lot, whether CN really cares about how they're treating Infinity Nikki. Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, 7 mil. These games usually make, these Dragon Ball Z games are the ones that make a lot of money. I don't know if they're making it off of nostalgia or what it is, but they make a lot of money. Uma Musume is making 9 million. We should be getting a global release pretty soon. I think it's even on Steam if I'm not mistaken right there. Azure Lane making up to 9 mil. Whenever you open up Twitter and you want to see people lose their minds, look up Azure Lane and look up the kind of, I think it might be on the back of that girl with the, what is it called? With the pull cue. That one definitely got some people going. Let's just say it like that. Reverse 1999. Only thing I really know about this game is that there is that one girl that is the front of every hag meme. Damn, Zelda Zone Zero down to 10 million, but I'm not entirely surprised by this. This might be a little bit of coping, but I believe this is off the back of Hugo. Hugo is not exactly selling, Hugo may have sold on another banner, but the fact that this is before Yijun, which is what everyone's really waiting for, he's not going to sell a lot. We really need to see where Yijun falls next month, and then we'll get a better idea, because season 2 will be coming out for Zenless Zone Zero. We got to see where that's going. Dragon Ball Z Legends up to 11 million. One of these I might try one of these Dragon Ball games. We're gonna have to figure that out some way or another, chat. Maybe. You know what? Maybe, chat. We've been like trying a lot of different games. Unfortunately, Crystal of Atlan was not really one that stuck with me. Not much of an MMO player. I'm figuring that out, and I keep having to figure that out. The hard way, Cookie Run Kingdom up to 15 mil. That is, I think there is an update recently. I think one of my viewers told me that. Girl, Goddess of Victory, Nikkei, up to $23 million, chat. Goddess of Victory combined. I'll check later whether this has to do with China, because China just had their global release for Nikkei. If not, this 23 million is coming off the back of their 2.5 anniversary, which has Little Mermaid, which is a big character. She's actually insanely broken, might be one of the new most broken characters, and probably overspec Mihara, or as they call it, Midhara, because she is not that good, even especially for an overspec character. Wuthering Waves making 2.25 million. I think this is the best month they've had. I don't know, but man, Wuthering Waves not able to crack 30 million with Zanny. Chat, Zanny and Chacona are in this. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, chat. If they couldn't do it with Zanny, I don't think they're gonna do it with Cardathea. This game will never break 30,000. This game will never hit a #1 month. This game just sucks. I honestly think that you guys should probably quit this game. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. I'm just kidding. I'm sure that's gonna upset anyone. Cardathea will inevitably. I want to say she might be the most sold, which kind of sucks for me because I would have preferred it to be Zanny, just because that's just more a personal thing. I really like Zanny. I kind of wish Zanny was the best month they've ever had, but if Cardathea gives it to him, who really cares, right? They're just gonna get the money. Wuthering Waves, I don't think Septima for right now has top earning potential until we get closer to Septima. No one's really made a splash as much as Zanny has or as much as Cardathea has just yet. We're gonna wait, chat. We're gonna wait on that one. Fate Grand Order, Grandpa's still kicking, showing these youngsters how it's done, making another 25 mil. Genshin Impact making 36 million. That's very surprising. This is off the back of Escoffier. Escoffier is actually selling. I think Escoffier was surprisingly a big hit, especially with all of the memes surrounding her with Gordon Ramsay. I'm just very surprised as to how much she made. Next is Chinese Naruto. I didn't know Naruto had a Chinese specific one, but that's 38 million right there. That's a cool money for them. Don't know where that is, but they've been making 30 mil a month, so that's kind of cool. Arc Knights making 39,000. I wouldn't know what this is about, but they're coming out kind of swinging. I think they doubled their revenue. I don't know where that happened, but it happened. Now to the end of what we would probably call the most. How do I put this delicately, chat? At the end of what really matters, Honkai Star Rail again on top in terms of gacha games that gacha games that we care about. I'm just gonna be real. Love and Deep Dick, no one's really watching that, or maybe they are. I wouldn't really know. Shout out again, but I will say this: shout out to the ladies. Again, this is probably gonna be mostly the Chinese community spending money on this. A lot of lonely women in China. Shout out to them. Hit up your Pokemon TCG Pocket. Again, I don't count this as a gacha. I guess as a gacha. I don't know. I don't really like Pokemon as much as I used to, especially the way that they've been treating Power World. I'm more of a Power World fanboy nowadays. Honkai Star Rail, though, 50 million. This is off the back of Hyacinth. Yes. Hyacinth, and I think I'm trying to think exactly who just sold. I think it was Hyacinth. So Hyacinth and her fat fuck making money, chat. I'm surprised the big game right now is Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail is always consistently at the top now. You know, their Genshin Impact is usually pretty close behind, but it is usually these two that are at the top in terms of the big four. Zenless Zone Zero, you know, unfortunately it is at the bottom. I'm coping and hoping that people are going to spend more for Yijuen. Wuthering Waves, comfortable third place. Nothing too crazy about that. But the only thing is that I'm very surprised because Wuthering Waves didn't crack at least 50 mil for their anniversary. Like, their anniversary should have been the thing that spent them a lot of money. But the anniversary was such a disaster. That patch 2.3 was honestly pretty dog. The only really good thing about it were the characters Zanny and Chikona releasing. And that counts for a lot, to be honest. That might carry that patch alone. But let's look at this. Global, of course, you know, CN alone. Okay, CN alone is, like I said, 49 mil. There it is. And there it is, chat. And there it is. Honkai Star Rail on global. It made more globally than domestically. That's an interesting one. So, Gundam in Japan. That's not surprising. 22 million. Shout out to that. Fate Grand Order in Japan. They're popping off. I just wish they had a automatic combat button. That would work for me. Genshin Impact. There it is. They're the one funding. What's his name? French, Gordon Ramsay, and Global. Not too far behind with 16 mil. Wuthering Waves. I guess it's more of a global thing. I don't honestly see a lot of. I don't know. Is this popping off as hard in China as it is globally? Again, it might not be because this is a PC specific game, which is why a lot of their sales probably won't even show on here. Especially, I wish there was a Steam chart that we could see. Steam might have a little bit more of a closer representation to how much people are making because it is out on Steam now. But chat, let me know how you guys feel about this. Remember, these are all 100% accurate. None of these are made up. I'm totally reporting the real revenue reports. Chat, comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one. Bye. On the ground, the scales fall blind.